All right. So we rolling?
Yeah.
All
Lego
right.
Batman.
Oh my god.
And this way we're gonna do like we're just gonna free flow
Free on
it.
it.
It's gonna be
nice and easy.
Freestyle it.
Much like the many times that there were some freestyle beats dropped in Batman.
Yes, actually.
Yeah, like honestly, for what beatboxing is, I really liked the fact that they incorporated the movie, and it didn't feel really stupid cheesy.
No,
like he was like, no man, let's just rap a little bit, and I'm like, okay, Batman, like this guy.
No, because I mean, like it works on that leverage of like, no, people who think they are exceedingly cool and important would beatbox.
Oh, exactly.
Like, yeah,
like, oh, by the way, I'm also a rapper. Like, they really pushed up a factor in this movie that hasn't really been talked about at all, is Batman's ego.
Yeah, him being an icon and, like, being aware of it.
And him knowing that. Yeah, I think the part where he did, like, wheelies in front of the orphanage and shot a merch cannon, I was like,
merch cannon,
yeah, that's, he knows who he is, and...
On the guitar, like, just... The idea that Batman would need, like, a guitar, like, and would want a guitar, it would be purely for ego.
Oh,
like.
exactly. And that it's so exciting to finally get to the point where because there have been jokes like that forever, as long as Batman has existed. And this movie makes a really good point of talking about how long Batman has existed. And evenly referencing all the points and talking about how kind of strangely, like, easy it is to, like, because, like, this movie, without even trying, encompasses every ounce of Batman history that has ever been.
It really does. I mean, like, when they do the, like, literally the throwback where it's like, yeah, I was in a bad mood in 2016, which is hilarious because it was only a year ago and they showed the show. Yeah. But then they just go all the way back to the 1960s Batman.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like, anybody who's ever heard of Batman just appreciated that.
Exactly.
And, like, that's the good part of the movie. And, like, that's the thing we were talking about, too, about, like, everybody could appreciate the movie, not in just the sense that, like, yeah, it makes jokes up here and it makes jokes down here, but it moves so blisteringly fast that when they make a joke that you've heard about Batman before, or they make like a more juvenile joke, it's fine because they're literally already talking about a joke like for you.
And
by the time you realize,
as far as juvenile jokes go, I really don't even think.
Yeah, no, it never makes like a fart joke or like
it was
anything.
Surprisingly highbrow for a PG movie. Like, I think where I really thought that, I mean, I think one of the best parts of the movie is the fact that it really ran home its placement in the Lego universe. Like, the best part about the central point of the plots are these different worlds, the Phantom Zone, which is a DC thing, and then they talked about how the city is just made of fucking Legos, so it will crack apart. And they made those two things equally important, so they very much meshed the ideas like, no, this is a DC concept in a Lego world.
Well, and they rest like a huge plot point on it being the Lego world. Like, this movie could not have been
just an animated Batman movie.
It could not have been. It just can't be.
And it worked, and that's the great part, because since it was a toy, I mean, I guess that's what, I don't know who the fuck wrote the Lego movie, but they're good at goddamn, they're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just good. And whoever wrote this one is also very good, and I will say it had the same sort of like shape of the Lego movie, but in a good way. It borrowed all the good things, but seeing how the main character of the plot of Lego movie was the happy-go-lucky dumb Lego boy, which would the equivalent in the Batman movie would be the Robin character. They just gave it to like a character whose password is Iron Man sucks. Like, it's a very different character, and it's very interesting to see him just, God, it's just... Oh.
Well, it's interesting to look at because they built such a perfect, like, I mean, Will Arnett is just a perfect casting call for the kind of Batman they created. I mean, like, if we're
talking about a voice that gave life to Nutjob 2. Okay, he is rolling right now.
Like, I mean, like, this Batman would not be the same character. Like, they wouldn't have written him in the same way if Will Arnett hadn't been acting for him. I mean, I have to say what was crazy to me too is what is it? Michael and I have been kind of like throwing Arrested Development on, like, in the background.
Oh, God.
It's crazy to hear, like, Michael Cera and Will Arnett, you know, they're both on that show, and then hearing them, like, in this movie. Michael Cera did an incredible job at voice acting in this movie. Like, it's mind-blowingly.
I did not feel it was him. He definitely did a very good job. And the Padre thing is kind of really, really nice little joke.
Okay, for me, it hit really home because I love to use Spanglish.
It's beautiful.
Like, it's a core, like, trait. Yeah, like, to just see it represented, I was like, yes.
Yeah, it was beautiful because there's a lot of really good lines about that. And, oh my God, let's talk a little bit more about the Batman universe concepts, and then we'll talk about the Lego movie concepts, because there's a lot of both things. Yeah, so a lot of the Batman stuff, what was really great is the very start of the movie. They established they're in the Lego world by having that plane fly in, and then all the Lego people are just talking because we're just dumb. And it was nice to get okay, so we're in this kind of pushover world. But then it becomes blisteringly self-aware the second that the Joker talks to the pilot, and he's like, ooh,
right,
and then the pilot's immediately I'm not scared of you, and he's like, why? He's like, well, the Batman will stop you.
Well, and what's so great about that too is we end up not falling into the same trap as the last Batman movies
as
because
Batman?
It's literally as soon as that line comes out, we're fast forward all in our heads all okay, where are we at in this story? We literally fast forwarded past every single Batman movie we'd seen, and we were in a new place finally.
The Joker's not a threat.
Yeah, but the thing is, every time we watch a new Batman movie, we're we have to rewind and rewrite basically what Batman is to us, and or at least cognitively. In this, we were able to take all of that and be all right, I know that about Batman, and I can just keep that. I get to that's valid. It's validated.
In this story, Batman was considered a hero. There was no question of his I'm a vigilante or I'm they broke that down later, but they started the movie with him literally being a hero.
Exactly.
Which is new. Normally he's oh, I'm the grungy and he's building up his way, and at the end he's no, but I am a good hero. And they just started the other way around. And
exactly.
Then they gave a character that the public thought he was, and then they showed you who he was, and then they broke it down. And they broke it down, and they were really self-aware about it because they referenced Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
they referenced all the other Batman movies that have ever been. They did the classic mashup of all this old stuff. They had Alfred in on that. There were so many good DC jokes.
And another good setup on that, on the other side of making all the past stuff valid. It's also a movie about what would happen after Batman wasn't in the whole anti-hero loop again, and so it means going forward. It's literally not in the same style, but you could literally attach this movie to the end of every other Batman movie that has happened, and be this would be a valid story even in in all of those other universes.
And just saying lines we don't need a man in pajamas running around saving people.
Exactly.
An adult man in pajamas. It's just. That joke is not new. It's not a new concept, but it's the first time that it has been a real part of a plot.
Yeah, the way it's the first time it's been arranged in a Batman universe to actually work, which is just great.
It needed to happen anyway. And the fact that they finally just did it, it's refreshing because I don't know. I'm really glad that DC let the Lego movie do this because it took Batman and did something with it. When he comes out and he's got a metal song playing and he's just it's he's hardcore, and that's never normally Batman is just badass. He's just quiet and he's just I'm in the dark and I'm this and he has it, and then you just assume that he's badass. But this one actually played up that part of his character, and it really made you think about, well, yeah, it is just kind of ridiculous those odds. There's not a big in most Batman media, he is just one man against 70 other people with superpowers.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the beauty. And that's the thing. Again, just no, we're past that. Is the first scene, he literally fights every single Batman villain and wins handily.
Easily.
Just gets it done.
No problem. Yeah, and completely destroys the Joker. Fundamentally. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, yeah, was there any more DC stuff? The first time their property has been used correctly in the last 10 years.
Well, and I think kind of on that thing, it's part of the Lego part being so good is it is a really fresh style. It doesn't have that whole Sam, Lou, Bruce, Tim, every time I see one of those, I'm just please just do something new.
Yeah, it's just
and this doesn't have that baggage, so it's just no, it can just be, it's literally just fundamentally fun and fresh from that standpoint.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Just the character direction wise, I like the Joker not being, a laughing to himself, just crazy person.
Yeah.
He kind of had goals and worked towards them.
I remember the first thing that I said when we came on the movie, I was like, who knew it was that easy to write a plot for the Joker? All you had to do was just give him a plot. Instead of making him this plotless monster that's just oh, I'm the, they just gave him an actual reason. And in retrospect, normally you're well, isn't he all obsessive and psychotic? But he kind of is. He just is about Batman. And it still came across.
And I love that like, you know, Zach Galifianakis voicing the Joker can now be the fourth best like cinematic Joker, right above Jared Leto.
You can just put Jared Leto down.
Jared Leto can like just get pushed down one more.
And I say
and I say it's deserved. It's not me shitting on.
So deserved. Like there were a good 2 or 3 Jokers in between Leto and Zach and Galifianakis. He did a very nice job.
Yeah.
Like for a character that I feel like him as an actor, especially as the voice actor, was just like, okay, I have to approach this carefully, but I also have to let go of all the bullshit that has been infused in this character and just make him a character.
Yeah.
And Harley was done incredibly well.
So subtle, but just like
Holy
all of the
shit.
like every time she was on, her voice actor and her lines were just like perfect. Like
they did roller derby Harley, which is a very new, fresh design, and they gave her a lot of agency. She did all the real work. I mean, Joker was the mastermind, but like she was easily the most useful.
His job was to yell at Batman.
Yes,
like.
exactly. And then so I think that's good on the DC parts.
Okay.
Let's jump into the.
My only other thing I want to feel about the Barbara Gordon Batman romance. Like the thing was in a vacuum, like in this movie, it's created pretty well. Like I think it works okay.
Yeah.
Just because they made Batman they made references to Batman existing in the 60s and existing today and being the same age, and so introducing her as a new character in this space because she's never been in a cinematic movie except for Batman and Robin with George Clooney and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Which is a jewel.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie, but she came in existing as this new character, and I didn't mind the romance. And then, it gets chalked up to a very, earned friendship at the end.
Yes!
I just, unfortunately, had the flashbacks from that horrible Killing Joke movie. That was just disgusting and awful. It just reminded me of that, and I was like, uh-oh, I just thought of Sam Liu's horrible abortion of a movie.
Oh, God. I'm so glad that I did not see that. And I think I can speak from that perspective and saying that they did the romance very well, because it was very one-sided, but they didn't do the obsessive thing where Batman acted not cool around her, which gave him some vulnerability, which is exciting because he was not vulnerable around anyone else. And then later on in the movie where he shows growth, there's that line where he's like, my family, my son, my father figure, and my really best girlfriend, but we're co-workers. He made that really
it was
was funny, and it worked because never once did they ever have her even talk about a relationship, or even they never showed her thinking. She never made gaga eyes at him or anything like that. It was just a little crush he had in his head, and they didn't rule the movie because of it. He didn't not break into Arkham because she was there. He fumbled when she was there because he's nervous.
It never took agency away from her.
Yes.
Literally, they make that a joke of he jumps in front of her and then they're pushing back and forth each other, because it very much puts them on an even playing field of. And then action wise, they don't make her they make her just as action.
Exactly.
And they immediately did that with Robin too, which I appreciated. Yes. They were just no, these characters. There's no training. There's no Batman is up here and these characters are in a hierarchy behind us. No, it's the Lego world. They're immediately even.
Yeah, exactly.
One is not better than the other.
No, Barbara was done very well, and that's just how you do it. She was the answer that Batman was seeking at the end, because she literally just wanted to join, it's Batman, just don't be a loner douchebag. And at the end of the movie, he asked her if he couldn't be a loner douchebag, and she said yes, and it was just smart. It was a nice way. It was very well done, and I did not see the Killing Joke, so I get to bask in the appreciation.
Hopefully nobody else did.
I hear it was complete and utter piss.
I don't know. I've seen bad Batman movies before. It's just unfortunate when you see a Batman movie that ruins other Batman stuff. It just is.
I mean, because that's a very touchstone.
It's terrible. Don't watch it. Period.
Yeah.
Done.
Bree was screaming about that one. Anyway, so that's the DC things. Looks like that's wrapped up. I love the inclusion of Superman. My only issue with the entire movie, if Superman put Zod in the Phantom Zone, why wasn't he there at the end?
I agree.
Why wasn't he? One of the issues, and then why, and what I did like, though, is that I think they thought about that, and then they realized later that this isn't about the Justice League.
Yeah, they didn't want that like lead for Superman to
because
come and
literally when Batman was like, I'm gonna make bat signals for other people, I thought he was gonna call the Justice League. That was in my brain. But him calling all the other villains, I'm like, that's actually cool. That's keeping it in the family. Like that was a good choice.
It kept it very Batman.
Exactly. And they did need an example, and that's a very canon DC thing to do, to show Superman putting Zod into the Phantom Zone, even though in the most recent movie he just murders him. Like it's good.
Yeah.
So so that's the DC things tied up very nicely. Everything done really well. My favorite line is still Martian Manhunter, more like Martian Dance Hunter. Whoa! They're just partying.
It's very the collision of the two.
Oh yeah, it was good.
They knew how to make a joke about Martian Manhunter with Lego humor.
Exactly. And then let's get to the Lego part, because honestly, this movie is 50% Batman and 50% Lego movie, and that's the best part about it.
Yeah.
They don't rely too heavily on the fact, like, I don't know what it is about that animation that just works so freaking well.
First, like, it's just so many pieces too. Like, so like you take the Michael Bay theory of like taking a transformer and you're like, the more moving, just digital things we have on the screen, the more visually interesting it is. It really, like, seeing a transformer transform is really visually interesting.
It's awesome.
But nothing's happening and you don't really understand it. So like, but with Lego, you know what Lego pieces are. You've touched them, you've put them together. You've literally done the exact same thing Batman is doing when he builds something.
Yes.
So you have that exact same thing. When you see all these pieces, you can just more easily, you're like, oh, I know what's happening, and it's fun. It's super fun.
Little things like getting to see, like, when Batman's like groaning and he's just flipping the piece over. Things like that. They still work, and maybe that's just because the format's still fresh for us.
I think that's it. I mean, I think by the time we get to Ninjago, we'll be a little like, eh.
Honestly, I think the writing on Ninjago is going to be fine. So it's really just like,
hopefully, I mean, like Ninjago's just not a franchise. Like, Legos, they did their own, but they did it filled with other franchises. I mean, like, the original Lego movie, I mean, it had Batman in it, it had Lord of the... Like, it had everything in it. This one, I mean, they even went above on this one. They put every single Batman villain in it.
Yes.
And then they added Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
That was the Phantom Zone. The Phantom Zone having
delightful surprise.
Dimensional. Like, because I was expecting other DC villains.
Yeah,
like,
I
thought
like
Brainiac and stuff. But when Sauron and a T-Rex are just there, and then you're like, oh, okay. And then they bring in some... And then when the Joker, like, announces them, you're like,
that's of course the squad,
absolutely.
like, just announcements.
And then and Sauron's voice actor, I think, is guy from Flight of the Conchords, who always does a good job. He did a very good job. But let's be real, the Matrix reveal was definitely
because like, again,
do you want him deleted?
It's just one of the and like I imagine like some people felt the same way about the Doctor Who ones, where it's just like they didn't need to make that reference. Like that's not hitting the kids. That's only hitting. Like I mean, even Matrix. I mean, that's what 90s. Like I mean, that's only hitting us and older.
It's a 90s R movie. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like. And you were saying it was like, I bet Lego just all those years ago just signed some contract like, and when we make a movie, and they're like, oh yeah, when you make a movie.
When Lego makes a movie.
Okay, sure, buddy. Like, they just have them all.
No, I mean, honestly, at this point, you'd be an idiot not to let Lego use your properties.
Because, I mean, I don't even know how much money they made from that first one, but it was enough to just do everything with this one. Yeah. And they had, the Lego, the thing is, giving those scenes were one of my favorite ones is where, the Earth is going to, the town is going to break apart, and one of the, everyone's, frozen in fear, and the one guy's like, I'm going to start looting now. Like, having the Lego universe be set in this way where everyone has their roles, and they're just happily doing them, makes just everything feel so great, because you get those great interactions, like the Lego guy talking to the Joker and saying, like, you know how this goes, dude. We've done this a billion times. We don't die. We're plastic, immortal creatures trapped in but they're just really happy about it. It's great. It doesn't seem like they're trapped. It just seems very much like they're in this really fun place.
I think it's just because the style is fresh, but it doesn't seem gimmicky. Like, it doesn't seem just super. Like, they're not just breaking the I don't know. In the Lego universe, when they say something like that, they're not breaking the fourth wall. Like, it is tech. It is something narratively different. Mm-hmm. They're just aware of how the world works. Yeah. Not that we're watching them. Like, it's a weird.
Exactly. Like,
it's
saying things like the Joker saying, "We've been doing this for 79 years or whatever."
Yeah. It's like
they're aware of of the
they're
time.
literally talking about that. They're not talking about like, oh yeah, the audience got that one. They're just like, no, like we're making a straight joke, and it's funny to the audience because they can say that with like their world still working.
Exactly.
And that's what makes the Lego world so interesting and funny.
It's cool. And they never drop out jokes like the way that they fix the world in the end. Like putting that little click sound effect. You're like, yep, that seals the deal. That's great. And that's all you need. And that's the best part. They didn't overdo it. They didn't like it wasn't the Lego movie. Batman uses his master builder thing.
Yeah, they do make like 2 references to it, and they have them build his ship. Basically, is the only thing they build and rebuild.
Exactly,
basically.
and it kind of makes sense because he dictates it to his computer, and he even gives it sentience to it at a point in time. So it does feel like it's still Batman's control of this like Lego thing, but it also it just makes sense in the world.
Well, they let the other characters build stuff too, which is. Again, like I'm sure in the Lego lore they're like, well, because they were given instructions, they're not actually master builders. They're like, I don't know, but like I really enjoyed that. Like, I remember like when they said the word master builder, I was like, oh, that's right, that was a thing in the Lego movie, and I just had to check myself for a second. I was like, oh, I forgot, I learned some rules and I'm supposed to remember some of them, but like not like they literally just did that one line and then just kept going, and I was like, oh, so if I had missed that, I'd have been just fine.
Exactly. Like he's the only one who really makes stuff. And yeah, just a lot of good stuff that they could really only do in Lego Movie because they had such flexibility in that universe. And it still had this sort of like we said, it still has these legs to stand on. Like, and like I don't know, just going back into the animation, like I mean just back to the like Michael Bay thing, like so many things can happen so quickly because it's just animation. Yeah. And like that's just what like there will never be a live-action Batman movie where Batman beats every single villain that exists because they just couldn't do it. That wouldn't make sense. Yeah, it's allowing them to really physically. I mean, like Matrix is the closest thing where they just literally make duplicates, and they even do references to that when he's fighting the entire horde of him spinning around like kicking them all. Yeah, but like it's like no, like a regular movie like that'll never be able to. We won't be able to see Batman beat all of his villains in the like preamble to a live action movie. Exactly. And I mean it defines Batman as not the character but the toy that we played with. Yeah, he's the idea. Like we get to not the narrative like he's the Batman. Like and he represents he's Batman. He's everything we love and have made Batman. Exactly. And then they talk about how that's wrong, and it's just great. There's development. There's stuff happening. Like, why can't I hope every movie this year is this good. Like, I really, like, it won't be, but you know what I mean? Like, standard, and that's good. Yeah. It's good, because there's no reason why a new standard in media can't come from the Lego movie. Like, there's no reason. Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, it's gonna win, like, Best Animated next year. It must. Like, unless, I think anything else is coming out. I can't imagine. I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to speak to what I clearly don't know. Yeah, exactly. I remember being excited for this movie, and it actually delivered. So yeah, it was so good. It got like 91 on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh yeah, it is just ridiculously well reviewed. Yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, go see it. Absolutely see it. Oh my god.